So, welcome back to the retreat. Can you hear my voice?
Yeah,
No?
we hear you, but only the picture is not there.
The picture, the beginning was the word first, the sound.
The picture will come at some point, right?
It's coming.
Yes.
Yes. So, like I said, in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. Now we have come. The sound is over. Shall we start? And how do we start? Do you have a last question or something? I find this interaction very good,
Yeah.
when you ask.
Yeah. So the idea was originally in the program that now the group could ask questions, other people.
Oh, sure. 100%, yes. I know the friend of mine who's sitting right under the leaf.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Last
Ari.
time I gave him a hug.
He just came now, half an hour ago.
Okay.
He came a little late.
That's okay. So, do you have any one question before we go to the others, or we leave it open to the others? What do you want to do?
Perhaps we start with the group first.
Okay, great. So, whoever has a question, they have written it down?
Yeah.
Have they?
I think they will
They
come
will
up
come to us.
and ask the question.
Johanna will start.
Hello.
Hello.
My question, did Maheswarnath give you any certain advices when you met him last time? Or what are the most precious advices from him?
Yeah, now, this is private, but this is serious. But since you asked me the question, yeah, some things I can't tell you, but some things I can. So let me tell you what I can. So, well, first of all, he told me that as time goes along, more and more people would come to understand the teachings. And that horrified me because I wanted to stay alone. So, but he said, no, it's your job to teach if people come to you. So then I said, so what advice do you give on this? He said, first, treat them like your friends. Don't keep them somewhere down and you're sitting up. No. Treat them like your friends. One. Second, don't get fed up and tired. Whatever they ask, whatever they say. He said, I know human beings so well. They might, but don't get fed up. It's your job. You do it as your spiritual and religious duty. This was one of his parting advices. The second advice was that I should not, until the last, declare anybody as my successor in this. Well, I might have many students, but not to say that one person is, I'm going to choose this person for until at least till the last moment, if I find somebody at that time. Because he says, in all ashrams, that builds up politics. So he kept me away from that. And the rest, he told me to lead a good life and not overindulge in anything. He told me to get married. And he said, monk's life is not for you. Most people who will come to you will be people who are in the world, who are married, who have relationships. If you become a monk, you will not know what their problems are, because you will be living in isolation. I really wanted to become a monk. I tried many times. He said, no, that's not your cup of tea. So, so these are some of the things. Of course, some other intimate things. One I can share. He said, you and I have been linked for many births. Beyond that, well, he also said that among the things I can discuss, maybe, I hope he's watching, one of the things he said was, as days go by, in future, science will discover ways and means of producing energy without polluting the earth. At that time, no solar energy had come yet. But I don't think he was talking only about solar energy. I think he was talking about sound energy, which can be operated even to lift the heaviest of objects. Sound energy can be harnessed to do a lot of work, but we haven't come there yet. The scientist, the physical scientist, believes that sound cannot travel in a vacuum. We believe that sound can travel in a vacuum. Particular special sound. And if this special sound can be made to affect the vacuum, then you get as much energy as a 90 megaton nuclear bomb. So, but then unless people learn how to use it safely, they will not discover it. But in future, this possibility is there, that scientists will get to this understanding which was used in ancient times to lift airborne vehicles. In ancient mythology, they are called Pushpa Vimana. An aerial vehicle which is light as a flower. Now I got some flowers here. Yeah. So, more than that, I'm sorry, I can't say anything more. I think I've overstepped my boundaries.
We will not tell it to a living soul.
Thank you. Thank you. Next question. Is getting cold? Hello. Namaste.
Would you like to tell me something about inner guru, what that means?
Mm-hmm.
And what is the relationship between inner guru and outer guru?
Right. Sometimes we can commit the mistake, all of us, as we journey on the path, of thinking that the mind that whispers to us is the inner guru. Quite possible that we might want to do something and we believe something and we think the inner guru has asked me to do it in the mind. That's not the inner guru. It is the function of the outer guru, a teacher, to bring about the development in the student so that he becomes reliant more on the inner guru than the outer guru. This outer guru also can die and disappear, but the inner does not. So, the inner guru is actually none other than the Supreme Being. It's not a personality. In the ancient Upanishads, this inner guru has been described as, I don't want to chant it, it's beautiful, but as Brahmanandam, Paramasugadam, Kevalam, Jnanamurtim, Dvandvatitam, Gagana Sadarsham, Tattvamasya Laksham, Ekam Nityam, Vimalam, Achalam, Sarvadi Sakshi Bhutam, Bhavatitam, Trigunarahitam, Sadgurum Tam Namami. So that Guru, the Supreme Guru, is none other than the Supreme Being, who is alone one, who is clean, nirmala, who has no black and white and darkness and light, who has no opposites, and who is our inner soul, everyone's. Now from this, draw this conclusion that every inner soul is connected only to one. There are no many. The many is an appearance. The one is the reality. So, when you have gone deep enough in your meditation, in your spiritual practice, one day when you are not aware of the outside world, in a state of deep trance, when you are not even thinking of any idea, what you should do or what you should not do, suddenly a thought will come into your mind. You may not even have thought about it. And it's not even from your subconscious. It comes deep from within. And then you know, yes, this is to be done. Now, if you have not studied any books, for instance, on a particular path, Ashtanga Yoga or Kundalini Yoga or Tantra or Mantra, suppose you haven't studied anything at all. Then one day, when you go deep into meditation, if you receive a complete understanding of this knowledge, then it's your inner Guru speaking. It may not be even speaking in words. It may be suddenly that you realize, I know this. I haven't, in this life at least, I haven't studied it, let's say. This is the inner Guru. And it's the function of the outer Guru to, as quickly as possible, connect a person to the inner Guru so that you don't have the responsibility on your shoulder. I'm joking. So I think I kind of have explained to you your question. And whenever such a thing happens, treat that with great sacredness and responsibility. It can happen to anybody at any time. Okay. Thank you. Dhanyavad. Hello.
Hello,
Okay, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you. So, I would like to ask about practice. So, in the practice, can we somehow combine just being and devotion, and how?
Combine
Yeah, combine just being,
being.
yes, just be, and devotion, and how?
Devotion cannot be cultivated. See, if you love somebody, you cannot manufacture the love, right? It's there or it's not there. You can't say, I'm working hard on finding out how to love somebody. That's not love, that's business. So, devotion is a natural and spontaneous aspiration that comes in the mind when you fall in love with the Supreme Being. There are no calculations there. It doesn't matter what happens. Maybe you are deep sunk in a well, but it doesn't matter. You say still, even ordinary love, when I say ordinary love, I mean physical love between two people. Even that, when it is very strong, nobody calculates. Nobody says, oh, what will happen if I do this? It just happens. right? In the same way, as you journey on the path, the more you desire, the more is your aspiration towards having a glimpse of the Supreme, then something very soft and nice grows in your heart. It's very fragrant. And when it grows, that is devotion. You cannot practice it, but when you say that's the only thing that I desire, then it's already started. Then leave it there. It will mature on its own. You cannot prematurely experience it. It has to mature on its own. It takes time. And physical manifestation of it is you feel a very sweet and wonderful feeling in your heart center, the heart center. So this is how. So you can't develop it. I can't tell you how to. I can only say the more your aspiration is to reach there, then the feeling for the beloved comes. You can't do anything about it. Okay. The second question you asked was being, just being. I keep saying this all the time, that ultimately after you have done all your practice, just be. The last part, where you do nothing but just be as you are, is a very important part of the spiritual practice, which many people miss. They do Kriya, but they don't sit after that, as long as required. Not even required, as long as you can, as long as you want. Now, the other way of being is you need not even be practicing Kriya at that time. Suppose you are outside near the lake, or you are near the mountains, or you are near the river or the ocean, and you're just sitting there or under the tree. You're doing nothing. You're not meditating. You're not doing Kriya. You're just being. In that being, very often, the truth is revealed. Why? Because you are no longer in the picture. The whole problem is because I am in the picture. When I get out, then everything is there. So be. Just be. Don't say how be, this be, that be. You know what I mean? So this me is the problem. So, because when I say me, then I want to be like this or not be. I told you yesterday the Sufi story of Rumis who went and knocked at the door, and the question was asked, "Who are you?" He said, "I am so and so." "Oh, okay, so go back. You don't see me now." So again, then finally he said, "Who are you?" He said, "I am you." He said, "Oh, okay, come on in." So there is no I there, gone. So that is being. So that need not necessarily be practiced while you do your sessions of Kriya. It can also be done in open air, near the hills, as you go closer to nature, the mind expands into beingness. Why? Because nature is not man-made. We are always surrounded by man-made objects. But the mountains are not man-made. The river is not man-made. The ocean is not man-made. The huge trees that stand in the forest are not man-made. The reindeer is not man-made. Santa Claus is, but the reindeer is not. So when you are close to nature, then the beingness comes naturally to you. When I first went to Babaji, and I was trying to meditate, sitting in Arundhati cave in Rishikesh, which is near the Ganga, near the river, near the Ganga river, Ganges river. And I was trying hard to meditate. Babaji said, "What are you trying? You're trying to pull your mind this way, it's going that way." Then you put. So he said, "So what to do?" He said, "Okay, open your eyes. Okay, watch the river." I said, "Watch the river?" "Yeah, watch the river." I couldn't understand that without a purpose, why one should do something that time. He said, "No purpose, just watch the river." "So for what?" I said, "For nothing, watch the river." You said, being. I watched the river and I saw the river flowing over the rocks, sometimes carrying leaves, sometimes clear, sometimes mud. And as I walked, something hit me and I said, yes, this is what it is. Just be, just watch. When you're driving and when you're on a bicycle, don't watch too much. Okay?
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste. Yeah.
About Patanjali, will you tell about him? And it is said that he was also a scientist.
He was what?
A scientist also.
He's a scientist. Okay. Now, Patanjali is considered to be a rishi. A rishi. And a rishi is not a holy man as you think. A rishi is not a lama, a rishi is not a monk. If you read the Upanishads and the Vedas, there is not a single rishi who is not married. He is not a monk. So the word a rishi actually means a scientist, but a spiritual scientist. So we include Patanjali in that category of spiritual scientists. The reason being that the science of yoga was known for 1,000 years, But there was no proper systematic compilation of the teachings of yoga. It was Patanjali who actually systematized this whole knowledge that was around. Now, Vyasa, the rishi Vyasa, Veda Vyasa, did this to the Vedas. In those days, the Vedas was a vast body of literature. Nobody knew where to start, where to end. He systematized it into Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvana. So he is called Vyasa. The word Vyasa in Sanskrit means a compiler, actually. So there are many Vyasas, many compilers. When you say Veda Vyasa, it means this Vyasa. In the same way, Patanjali systematized this entire science of yoga, which was like not put in any order. There was no order. When you want to learn something, you have to start 1, 2. That was missing. Patanjali put it all into order and wrote the Yoga Sutras. Now the thing is, they are called sutras. Now when you say sutra, in English, I don't know what in your language what it means, but in English, a sutra means an aphorism. What is an aphorism? Sutra is an aphorism, which means you can't understand a sutra without a commentary, without somebody explaining it, because it's a very tightly edited expression of a truth. So, therefore, when Patanjali compiled what he called the Yoga Sutras, Vyasa became his commentator. Because without a commentary, it's difficult to understand the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. So, it's like a commentary. So Vyasa gave the first commentary, then after several years, Vachaspati Mishra gave another commentary. These are the two standard commentaries that you follow nowadays, even today. So he was a scientist because he systematized the knowledge which was not under any system possible, and he made it a step-by-step progress in a very scientific manner, starting with the agitated and distracted mind and how to make it quiet and move forward. Patanjali defines yoga as yoga's chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga is the removal of all the distractions of the mind. That's how he starts. So therefore he is a scientist. Now, when you see the traditional depiction of Patanjali, he is depicted as a man up to his waist, and the rest is a snake. So, according to our understanding, Patanjali was not a Homo sapien. No, this is not official, but we don't believe that Patanjali was just a normal human being. I think he is someone who came from somewhere outside the earth to bring this knowledge to the earthlings, to us. And then it came into Sanskrit. It could also be because in yoga you have the Kundalini, which is symbolized as a snake. So Patanjali, being the initiator of the yoga, basic yoga, is also depicted as half a snake and half a man. Yes.
Thank you.
Welcome. You have done your homeworks well, huh? All of you.
We try here our best until you come next time.
Next time.
There would be a question from Kirsti, one lady from our group who is not here physically because she's sailing in a boat in somewhere Mediterranean with her husband. But she's very much in and involved and doing Kriya every morning, and it's very appreciative. And she has a Kriya question also, but I will leave it tomorrow morning because then we are supposed to talk about those a little more. But she has another question. So Kirsti wants to ask that if you can a little bit tell what is the connection between the Sikh tradition Japji Sahib, I don't know how to pronounce it, Japji Sahib, Sikh tradition, and the teachings of Guru Nanak. What is the connection to them? Oh, can you explain something about that traditions and maybe the connection to Sri Guru's teachings? So actually the question is only that what is the importance, what is that tradition about in the essence? And because Kirsti said that tradition touches somehow very deeply in her heart, so she would like to somehow, if you can elaborate a little bit.
Well, when you say the Sikh tradition, the Sikhs have many gurus, not one. The first person who originated this movement, which later culminated into the Sikh way of life. Now it's become a religion. And I think once upon a time it was only a way of life. It was not organized. You know what happens when things are organized? Yeah, so that there is this problem. But Guru Nanak was the first person who thought of bringing about the teachings of the Hindu scriptures and the Sufi teachings together in India. So he made a beautiful combination of the best of the Sufi teachings and the best of the Hindu teachings. Little bit Vedantic, but more on the devotional side. And as far as the Supreme Being was concerned, he stuck to the Vedantic and Upanishadic understanding that it has no form. It has no form and no shape, but it is consciousness. So he took that from. And from the Sufis, he added a lot of devotional practices in. He said, simply by deep devotion, without doing any other practices, you can see or get in touch with your Lord. You can't see when there is no shape and form. How can you see? You can't see, but you can get in touch with the Supreme. This is the beginning of the Sikh. They're called, later on they began to be called the Sikhs. I will tell you that later. Before that they were not called Sikhs. So it was also the time when there was a lot of Sufi influence in India. And because Guru Nanak brought about this practice of combining the two, for long periods of time, the Hindus and the Muslims, because of the Sufi influence, remained friendly and with each other. He did that also. Now, what kind of a person was Guru Nanak? He was born in Punjab. Punjab is called Punjab because it is the meeting place of 5 rivers. 5 rivers. Punjab. It's very fertile. There is no shortage of food in Punjab. Unfortunately, today, the youngsters are all caught by drugs. Anyway, that's a different matter. So, Guru Nanak was a very saintly man, he was a yogi, he was also a very saintly man with a good heart and so on. And he went to a place, before that he was appointed by the local king to be his storekeeper. So he used to work there as a storekeeper. This is just to illustrate the character of Guru Nanak. The Sikhs call him Guru, his name was Nanak. They also say Nanak Sahib. He was working as a storekeeper. His job was to measure the grains and give it to the public. So he started measuring. So one measure, ek in Hindi. Second measure, two, do in Hindi. Third measure, teen. Now he went on till he reached 12. 12 is bara. Bara is 12. Then he came to Tera. Now Tera is 13. When he came to 13, he couldn't stop distributing the grains. He kept on giving till the store became empty because the word Tera, which is for 13, Tera, got stuck in his head because Tera also means in Hindi and Punjabi, yours. Nothing is mine. It's all yours. You know? Tera means Mera is mine and Tera is yours. So he said, Tera, Tera, Tera. Since somebody said your storekeeper has gone crazy, they told the king, the storeroom is empty. He says, Tera, Tera. He said, yes, it's all Tera. So, I'm talking about the character of Guru Nanak. And then one day, in the place where he was doing some tapasya, he resigned and went to do the. There's a river there. He went to have a bath, they say, in the river, and he never came out for many days. And then when he came out, he was a wise man. He said, there is no Hindu, there is no Muslim, there is only human being. And there is only one God, that is the Supreme Being. And he called the Supreme Being the reality, Sat. And Shri, Akal. Akal means one which is timeless. It never is born and never ends. So it's timeless, it goes on forever. So he called it Akal. So even today the Sikh greeting is Sat Shri Akal. You greet somebody, instead of Namaste, they say Sat Shri Akal, which means the truth, the divine Shri, the timeless one. I bow down to that. So, this was Guru Nanak. He wandered a lot. He traveled, he went to Makkah. There is a story that he went to Makkah where the Muslims pray, and he was lying down with his legs towards the Kaaba, which is the center through which they go round. So somebody came and asked you, why are you lying down with your feet towards the Kaaba? You should put it in the other direction. She got up, he said, yeah, I'll do that, but I can't understand. Is there any direction where God does not exist, that I can't point my legs inside? So, this is Guru Nanak. I'm just giving you an example. And he wandered the length and breadth of India and also abroad. He has gone to many places abroad. After his time, there was a successor, and then a successor, and then a successor. And there were many gurus of the Sikhs. How many gurus? 10 gurus. I have a Sikh sitting here. So. No, she's not sick, I mean Sikh. So, there were 10 gurus. The last guru of the Sikhs was Guru Gobind Singh. Now, Guru Gobind Singh was an extraordinary human being, an extraordinary person. It was after Guru Gobind Singh's time that they came to be called the Sikhs. Because a Sikha means the hair this is a Shikha. See? The hair that is tied up is called a Shikha. So the Sikhs were asked by Guru Nanak not to cut their hair and to tie it up. So they don't shave and they don't cut their hair. Why? Because he wanted not only religious people, but he wanted also militant people, because then the Mughal king of India, whose name was Aurangzeb, was persecuting all the Hindus. So Guru Nanak formed this committee of Sikhs, army of Sikhs who protected the Hindus from the Mughals. And they could not be defeated easily because, first of all, they are good, strong people in Punjab. And secondly, because they believe that there is only one being, supreme being, and we are trying to save people from being persecuted. So all of them started wearing shikhas. They were then called Sikhs. They have very good principles, which is speak the truth. You will not find a single monk or a sannyasin among the Sikhs, because Guru Nanak said, work for your living, don't beg for your food. The minimum number of beggars in India are in Punjab, because there is a big Sikh population there. If you go and if somebody goes and begs, they say, come here, what do you want? Eat your food? Now I'll find you a job, go work, don't beg. So that principle is also among the Sikhs. So on the whole, it's a very good movement, as long as you don't get so orthodox and say, I'm different from everybody else and elite and so on, then you are in trouble, as always happens. It's because of the organization. So I think that is sufficient about the Sikhs. Good enough. And the biggest, one more thing, last. The Sikhs do not believe in worshipping any form of God. They believe in the formless, but they worship something, and that is their holy book. It's called the Guru Granth Sahib. They call it Granth means book. That is kept in all their places of worships, which are called Gurudwaras. Now, Gurudwara means entrance to the Guru. Dwar is door. Door, I think, is actually derived from the Sanskrit dwar. Now, Gurudwara means the entrance to the Guru. So, where is the Guru when you enter? The book. So, after Guru Gobind Singh passed away, he said, there are no more Gurus, now the book is your Guru. Granth Sahib. It contains beautiful poetry describing spiritual experiences of many great yogis, Hindus and Muslims, both Sufis, including Kabir Das. So the biggest and the most central Gurudwara, place of worship of the Sikhs in India, is in Amritsar, the Golden Temple. The Golden Temple of the Sikhs is in Amritsar, and Amritsar means the lake of nectar, in the middle of which the temple stands. So I just wanted to tell you that Amritsar is the most important Gurudwara of the Sikhs. But in every part of India there are Gurudwaras. And the only thing they worship is the book.
Okay, so I had a question. Last time you were here, I remember we were sitting on the porch and drinking a cup of coffee or something, and you were talking about Maha Mudra as in Buddhism. And is this a practice that you can recognize in your own practice? And are there elements from the Mahamudra teaching that you are teaching yourself to your students?
Yeah. When we say Mahamudra, we are talking about an exercise, a practice, right? In the Kriya, we have a Mahamudra, which is a practice. This practice is mentioned in Kriya. It's also mentioned in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika. It's mentioned in the Garanda Samhita, and there are several texts where it is being mentioned, the Mahamudra. When the Buddhists talk about Mahamudra, the Mahayana Buddhists, the Vajrayana Buddhists, they are talking about a philosophical concept rather than a practice. In the Mahamudra teachings, I can't go into the whole thing, but may I recommend you to a text which may be possible to get and read. It has a wide variety of teachings on the Tibetan Buddhism, but it also has Mahamudra. Mahamudra, Maha means great. Maha, not even great, it means infinite. Maha. If somebody is an idiot, they say he's a Maha idiot. Huge, big. So, and mudra means a symbol or a seal. S-E-A-L, seal. So Mahamudra means the final supreme seal. It means the last stage that one can reach as a human being. And therefore it talks, because Buddhism, the Buddhist philosophy, believes in the concept of shunyata, shunya. Where Vedanta would say purna, full, Buddhism will call it shunya, emptiness. Now it's called shunya because nothing can define it. It's not because there's nothing there. If there's nothing there, how could this entire world come from it and disappear into it? It is, but it is not a thing. T-H-I-N-G. It's not a thing. It's no thing, nothing. So, this is shunya. This highest state where the mind has become completely empty. This is called Mahamudra. So in the Mahamudra, yes, there is some practices are there in the Mahamudra teachings, which is watching your mind. It starts like Vipassana. Watching your breath, watching your mind, and slowly discarding everything. And then when there is nothing left, this is the Mahamudra. So it even begins by saying, actually there is nothing, but we think there is something, and goes on. Now the idea is to get rid of that thing called something, and to reach the Mahamudra. But it is not emptiness in the state of nothing. It is the ultimate emptiness from which everything has come, which was before the day and the night. So this is the Mahamudra teachings. Now, I was mentioning a text for you to read, since you are all so serious when you take up research and working. If you want to learn about the Vajrayana doctrines, and I have a book, I have only one in my library, which was gifted by the Dzogchen Rinpoche, who lives in India now. It's called Kunzang Lamai Shalom in Tibetan language, which means words of my perfect master. Can you check there? Words of my perfect master. See who the author is. I forgot. Is a Rinpoche. Not present many years ago. So if you read this book, it's available in English translation. If you read this book, you will get a complete idea, theory and practice. You need not practice anything, but theory and practice of the Vajrayana system of Buddhism, which is practiced in Tibet, starting from Padmasambhava down. So this is what I told you is the Tibetan name, Kunzang Lama Shalom. It means the words of my perfect master by Patrul Rinpoche. Patrul Rinpoche.
Yeah.
Patrul Rinpoche,
Okay.
yes. So here also you will discuss the Mahamudra teachings in some chapters, and in some arousing the bodhicitta and other things. So this is a very important book which will give you a complete idea of the Vajrayana Buddhism, including their practice of Kundalini Yoga and the transfer of consciousness. And so on. So
Wonderful. Thank you.
You also get some idea about the Bardo. So can you have you taken down the name?
Yeah. I know it. I have already seen it in my Kindle book.
Okay. So here you go. Now you can do more research on that.
Thank you.
So what time? We have 10 more minutes now for today. What shall we do?
Meditate.
Well, I may have. Oh, okay.
Group wants to meditate. The group
Meditate?
said they want to meditate, so we will.
Yes.
I know what they
Sure.
want.
Okay.
As we like. Why, Mr. John had a question? Hans is John, right?
Yeah, Hans is John,
Yeah. Well,
anyway, shall we do it tomorrow?
yeah, let's do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, we chant Om 3 times, quietly, slowly, and then meditate, and then when it's over, I'll call you with Hari Om Tat Sat. So, we can start. Om. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Hrim Shri Guru
Om Hrim Shri Guru Namaha.
Can we ask for last thing? Last year when you were here, you made a tuni, and we would like to ignite the fire here, even when you are not here physically. So,
Oh, yeah.
Can you
Certainly.
Can you ignite our inner fire a little bit? When we ignite the outer fire, will you give your blessing to our tuni?
When are you doing it?
Now, tonight.
Now.
When it not
Okay.
right now, but let's say in a couple of hours time from now.
Another 2 hours?
Maybe we do it in 1.5 hours from now.
Okay, great, great. We'll do something. You light it.
Thank you.
See you.
See
Thank you so much.
you so much.
Now you can go to Shunya.